June 27th, 2011, the day wrestling changed forever.
Before I leave in 3 weeks with your WWE Championship, I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
CM Punk sat cross-legged on the ramp with a mic in his hand and said everything you're not supposed to say. He broke the fourth wall, he called out the corporate machine, and he didn't hold back, taking direct aim at names like John Cena, The Rock, and Vince McMahon.
You're better at than I am, and that's kissing Vince McMahon's ass.
Some people called him a traitor, a selfish man. Others called him an anarchist, a rebel, the only one bold enough to stand in front of the system and spit in its face. CM Punk's pipe bomb shook the foundation of a dying industry in the middle of the sterile PG era. And in a moment that didn't feel scripted at all, he talked about leaving WWE with the title and defending it in Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. In that moment, he became the voice of the voiceless. And the pipe bomb? It became the most important chapter of modern-day wrestling. Punk's words were about to light a fire. But here's the thing, it wasn't Punk who brought that revolution. Someone else did. Who, you ask?
I did them.
I held every grain of the revolution in my hand, and each and every one of you cheered!
Cody Rhodes, born as wrestling royalty, the second son of the legendary American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Cody was destined for greatness, even before he ever stepped a foot in the ring. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of inheriting his father's throne, Cody walked away. He left it all behind to forge his own path, to build his legacy from scratch, out in the wilderness of the independent scene. Promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and eventually, he helped found the biggest competition WWE had seen in decades, AEW. These days, people talk about the Forbidden Door, TNA partnering with WWE, AEW acquiring Ring of Honor and working with New Japan. But it was Cody who built that door. By breaking down WWE's monopoly, Cody carved out a path for talents like Jon Moxley, Matt Cardona, and others who went on to prove that WWE isn't the only route to success. By the time Cody returned to WWE, he was already a bona fide superstar, and WWE treated him like one. His feud with the Bloodline went on to become one of the most compelling stories the company had told in years. And at WrestleMania 40, Cody finally finished his story. He won the title his legendary father never could. From undesirable to undeniable, it was the prologue of his lifelong struggle, and standing beside him was John Cena. And Cena reminded him the title grows heavier every day. And who better to say it? John Cena carried the weight of the business for over a decade. He did it every single night, even when fans turned on him, even when sold-out arenas riots when he wins. His words, 20 years of a toxic, dysfunctional relationship can be brushed off as just another heel promo. But in truth, that's the reality the human John Cena lived, beneath the gimmick. But he didn't back down. He turned memes into merch. He turned relentless hatred and disrespect into fuel for his fire. Rise Above Hate wasn't just a slogan for a t-shirt. It was the code wrestling's last true guardian lived by. He never gave up on his principles. He never took shortcuts. He lived the words he preached: hustle, loyalty, respect. So when Cena speaks, it matters. We've seen the weight of the crown crush many before him, but Cena wore that burden with the strength of Atlas for decades. But Cody, he didn't even survive a few months before it all started to fall apart. And that's why today, we're breaking down why Cody Rhodes has failed as champion, and why John Cena's brutal attack on Cody was justified. Cody Rhodes was never meant to be the face to carry the torch from Cena. It was always supposed to be Roman Reigns. Even Dusty would have agreed.
With your dad, he told me you were his favorite son, but Roman Reigns was the son he always wanted.
Back in Roman's early days in NXT, it was Dusty who saw the spark in him. According to Roman himself, Dusty was critical early on as far as instilling confidence. He saw the man I would become, opposed to what I was looking at in the mirror. I've lived with that and carried that with me anytime I have doubts. WWE put all their chips in Roman Reigns and pushed him beyond the moon, but the crowd didn't connect with him. No matter how hard WWE tried to make Roman their top dog, his cookie-cutter, bland babyface persona was too dry to impress anyone. Roman grew frustrated, and the last straw came during the pandemic, when he missed a significant stretch of time due to health concerns. When he came back, he gave WWE an ultimatum: turn him heel, or he walks. WWE wasn't in a position to lose its top talent, so they folded. John Cena was semi-retired. Seth Rollins' momentum had collapsed after the horror of Hell in a Cell. Daniel Bryan and Edge were in the final legs of their careers. WWE desperately needed a new face to carry the company, and this is where Cody stepped in. A few years ago, Cody co-founded AEW, the first real competition WWE had faced since the fall of WCW. He had the potential to become the biggest superstar in the company. But in a shocking decision that marked the beginning of his downfall in AEW, Cody introduced a stipulation. If he lost his match against inaugural champion Chris Jericho, he would never challenge for the AEW World title again. He lost that match. And that's when the slow burn of Cody's decline began. Soon, he found himself stuck in forgettable feuds, constantly ambushed by debuting ex-WWE stars, drifting in the mid-card, fighting for the TNT Championship. Fans desperately wanted him to turn heel, to go back on his word, to finally chase the AEW title again.
Why I won't turn heel? It's because you cheered me when I needed the most.
But Cody stayed true to the promise he made. He had every tool to be a main eventer, but AEW never pulled the trigger. So in 2022, he made the call. He returned to WWE as a mystery opponent for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and kicked off a 3-match rivalry that delivered banger after banger, including a 5-star classic inside Hell in a Cell, a match he wrestled with a torn pec that would sideline him for the rest of the year. He returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble, lasted till the end, and won it, setting up a clash with Roman Reigns, who was in his god mode and in the middle of a historic title reign already 900+ days long. Everyone expected Cody to finish the story and write the next chapter, but Roman Reigns rewrote it instead. And yet, Cody didn't fade into the background. Throughout the rest of the year, he kept fighting. He slayed beasts, earned respect, kept delivering top-tier matches, and cut some of the best promos in the company. In the 2024 Royal Rumble, he made history. Back-to-back wins, and he pointed once again straight at Roman Reigns. But before he could get there, another roadblock stepped in: The Rock. He came with a dream match proposal: him versus Roman. A battle for the head of the table. A match too big to ignore between two of the greatest WWE ever created. WWE couldn't resist, so Cody stepped aside. He gave up his opportunity for The Rock. But the fans said otherwise. What started with chants and tweets quickly became a full-blown rebellion. They hijacked WWE programming with a movement, "We want Cody," and WWE was forced to pivot. The title match was back on the table. An injured Seth Rollins stepped in to help Cody in a tag match against Roman and The Rock, but they failed. The rematch became Bloodline rules. Cody had to survive a gauntlet. Roman, Jimmy, Solo, The Rock, one assault after another, but he didn't stand alone. He brought reinforcements, and when the smoke cleared, Cody Rhodes ended Roman's dominance once and for all. He finished the story. He won the title his father never could. Once undesirable, now undeniable, crowned as Undisputed Champion. But here's the thing, he didn't just finish his own story, he also finished the story of everyone who believed in him. That includes me, you, every fan who stood by him. And it was also the story of everyone who stood beside him during his war against what might be the most dominant faction and champion in WWE history. And it was the story of this guy. Back in 2000, a 14-year-old Kevin Steen laced up his boots in Canada, chasing a dream, inspired by the American dream. Dusty Rhodes didn't look like the prototypical wrestler, neither did Kevin, but Dusty made you believe that charisma, grit, and heart could take you further than looks ever could. Owens grinded for nearly 14 years across the indies, from PWG to Combat Zone Wrestling to Ring of Honor. By the time he signed with NXT, he was already an indie icon, but WWE was a different beast. A machine that could chew up a fresh face and spit them out forgotten. And that's when he met Dusty. By then, Rhodes had long retired from the ring. He was the creative head of NXT, head writer, promo coach, mentor. For 10 months, Dusty took Owens under his wing, helped him sharpen his voice, taught him that in WWE, being yourself was the key to survival. Owens has said those 10 months left a bigger mark than some wrestlers feel in a decade. At Survivor Series War Games, he wore Dusty's t-shirt and red elbow pad as a show of gratitude. When Cody waged his war against the Bloodline, he wasn't alone. The prizefighter had already been at war for years. When Roman manipulated everyone to fall in line by gaslighting or by force, Kevin was the first one to stand against him. He called the tribal chief a fraud, a manipulator, and a man who abused his family for personal gain. But every word fell on deaf ears. Kevin Owens had taken every shot, beaten, broken, molded by the Bloodline's dominance. Yet he never folded. He fought back with grit, with pain, and with memory. He was the first to stand by Cody's side, not just as an ally, but as a brother in arms. He understood the weight of legacy. He knew what it meant to be told you don't belong. And it wasn't just Owens. Sami Zayn arrived in WWE with doubts hanging over him, a masked indie talent from a different background, unsure if his style or voice would fit the WWE mold. Dusty changed that. He saw the soul behind the performer. He encouraged Sami to speak from truth, to draw on real emotion. That's how Zayn's underdog persona was born. Not from marketing, but from raw honesty. He once called Dusty a beacon of hope, a light in a system that didn't always welcome difference. Sami Zayn, twice manipulated by Roman Reigns, twice pulled under his shadow, finally broke free. He escaped the illusion, and when he did, he joined Cody's war, not as a tag-along, but as a soldier with something to prove. Together with Owens, they gave Cody more than support. They gave him a real shot, but even that wasn't enough, because the Bloodline grew. Their influence exploded. When the final boss arrived, everything changed. The Rock didn't just interfere, he hijacked Cody's moment. He took the spotlight, the main event, the very legacy Cody had fought to restore. He mocked the American dream. He stomped on Dusty's name. He laid waste to everything Dusty Rhodes ever built, and smiled while doing it. And Cody found his shield in the most unlikely of places. During his early days, Seth Rollins came in hot, already battle-tested as Tyler Black, but he clashed with Dusty early on. The rebel in Rollins didn't always mesh with the old-school instincts of Rhodes, but Dusty didn't smother that fire. He shaped it. He challenged Seth to channel it, to slow down, speak with purpose, tell stories that matter. Rollins later called Dusty not just a mentor, but a friend, the one who helped him find his voice. So when Cody was facing the biggest odds and the strongest version of the Bloodline, with the final boss now in play, Seth stepped in as his shield. The same man who once stabbed Roman Reigns in the back with a chair and shattered the shield. The man who helped create the monster now known as the Tribal Chief. Rollins stood with Cody, not for glory, but for redemption, to right a wrong, to help destroy the reign he once unknowingly helped build. Owens and Zayn had already taken the first brick out of the Bloodline's empire when they dethroned the Usos and ended their historic tag team reign. But Seth gave more. He sacrificed everything. He walked into WrestleMania with a broken body. He fought alongside Cody as his tag partner. He lost his own world title to Drew McIntyre, not because he was outmatched, because he was focused on something bigger than gold, justice. And when Cody finally faced Roman in the chaos of the Bloodline rules match, the odds were stacked. The ring became a battlefield, and when the dust finally settled, only 3 men remained: Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. That's when Roman lost focus. He stopped defending his throne. He reached for revenge. A chair shot aimed at Seth echoed through time. The same way Seth had betrayed Roman all those years ago. Roman now repeated history, but it wasn't a killing winning blow. It was the opening Cody needed. He struck. He hit the crossroads and finished the story. Now, Cody wasn't just the undisputed champion. He was the face of the company, the man on the posters, the man who had to carry the weight that once crushed even the strongest. And what did Cody do? He failed. When he faced his first real threat, the fractured but dangerous new Bloodline, now led by Solo Sikoa, Cody stood against the numbers, against the chaos. But he didn't stand alone. He had Kevin Owens and Randy Orton by his side fighting for him. But Cody never fought his own wars. When it came time to defend the one thing that mattered, his championship, he didn't trust the men who bled for him. He didn't trust the ones who sacrificed everything to help him reach the top. He shook hands with Jey Uso, the same man who had tormented Kevin Owens for years as part of the Bloodline. And even that wasn't enough, because Jey was on Raw, so Cody shook hands with the devil himself, Roman Reigns, the man who ruled WWE with an iron fist, the man who caused years of torment and suffering for KO and Sami, the man who broke Seth Rollins, fractured the roster, and manipulated his family into blind obedience. Cody aligned himself with the empire he was supposed to bring down. And Cody didn't just shake Roman's hand, he smiled while doing it. He preached forgiveness while reopening wounds that had barely healed. As Mick Foley once said, it's not about the scars on the outside, it's the ones on the inside that never heal. The scars Cody reopened will never heal. Then finally, John Cena arrived, on the final leg of a legacy that spanned more than 2 decades. Chasing his elusive 17th world title, chasing immortality, Cena returned once again, draped in the mask of hustle, loyalty, and respect. But deep down, he was a man hollowed out by years of scars. Royal Rumble was a failure. Elimination Chamber was salvation. But something changed that night. For over 20 years, Cena carried this company on his back, while crowds booed him out of buildings, while they hurled "You can't wrestle" in his face, while they begged for anyone to take his spot. They cheered his failures, mocked his loyalty, celebrated his absence. And now, those same fickle fans throw their support behind a paper champion like Cody Rhodes. So Cena snapped, not with words, with fists, with brutality, with steel to Cody's face and blood on his knuckles. At Elimination Chamber, John Cena dismantled Cody Rhodes. He sent a message to the fans who spat on his legacy, and to the company that replaced him with a man unworthy of the crown. And what did Cody do when he stood face to face with that legacy on Raw? Nothing. Not a single punch. No defiance. Because Cody Rhodes is incapable of action when it matters most. Any other man with pride in his blood would have gone to war right there. But Cody, he just stood there, talking about how Cena had changed, saying he wanted the real John Cena. That's the kind of man Cody Rhodes is. You can crush his father's dream, brutalize his friends, tear their bodies apart, and Cody will offer forgiveness like a greeting card and shake your hand like nothing happened. You can disrespect his family's legacy, beat him bloody, and he'll sip tequila with you after the show. You can drop him on his head, try to end his career, and he'll just cry in promos like he always does, because Cody can't do anything, and WWE knows it. They've protected Cody because they know the truth. Cena would eat him alive on the mic, rip the facade apart, strip him down to the corporate avatar he's become. That's why Cena didn't just break Cody's body, he shattered the illusion. He stood in the center of the ring and declared he would take the WWE Championship and walk out of the company with it. And Cody still did nothing. No fight, no fury, no fire, because deep down, even he knows he can't stop it. I wanted to love Cody Rhodes. I believed in his story. Like so many others, I connected with the journey. The dreamer, the outcast, the man who walked away to carve his own path. I believed he was the perfect man to dethrone Roman Reigns. I believed he was the successor to Dusty's legacy. I believed. But belief fades when reality takes its place. Cody's championship reign has been hollow, past the Bloodline saga. No substance, no storyline, no edge, no bite. Just hollow speeches and stitched together tag alliances with people who bled for him, while he shook hands with the men who hurt them. He isn't the fighting champion he claims to be. He's not a symbol of hope. He's a coward, clinging to a title he doesn't deserve. He had every opportunity to evolve, every reason to let the mask slip and become something real. A little darkness, a little pride, some bite behind the bark. But Cody Rhodes never changed. He's not the Homelander. He's a cookie-cutter babyface. cosplaying as a hero while better men pay the price for his crown. He deserved the beating The Rock gave him. He deserved the wrath of John Cena, and more than anything else, he deserves to lose that title, because only then will we finally get the champion we deserve. Not a fraud with a belt. Cody's story may be finished, but Cena's final story is just getting started. And when WrestleMania comes, it won't be Cody Rhodes walking out as the face of WWE. It'll be the man who never needed the fan, never needed the sympathy, the man who endured the hate, let himself burn in the endless fire, and rose back from the ashes every single time. This won't be a championship match, it'll be an execution. No gold, no glory, just judgment. Cody's time is up. Cena's last time is now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.